welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today, Thursday, the 22nd of May, 2025, and the news read by Cleopatra Funga Ichigashamoyo, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Stories making headlines. Progressive opposition members of parliament to resist 2030 agenda. Kukuraundi program. Lakes closure without perpetrators' voices, says Fuzwayo. Emmerson Mnangagwa and Ramaphosa failed Africa, says veteran trade unionist. Now let's delve into the stories in detail. Progressive members of parliament from Citizens Coalition for Change (CCC) have said they are going to denounce all calls for constitutional amendments that seek to extend tenure of parliament and presidency beyond 2028. Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Bureau leader Agents Gumbo said they are going to collaborate with other progressive citizens to resist the 2030 agenda. Let's hear Gumbo speaking.
Thank you very much, and greetings to the people of Zimbabwe. Agents Gumbo here. I just wish to touch and speak on the topic or the issue of our parliamentary caucus, the Progressive Parliamentary Caucus, which is a parliamentary caucus which represents a collective of CCC members of parliament who were both either elected by the people of Zimbabwe directly and or appointed by President Nelson Chamisa in the 2023 general elections. We have decided to take a clear stance based on our loyalties to the people of Zimbabwe and the protracted struggle for democratic transition and consolidation in this country. This stance we have taken is that we will not remain silent and allow the hijack of the People's Project by ZANU-PF, nor allow the mutilation of our constitution through advancements of the purported 2023 agenda. ZANU-PF is well aware that Parliament serves as an arena through which we can aggravate the demand for change in Zimbabwe and effectively resist its hegemony. It is for such reason that ZANU-PF then created a creature called Sengezo Chavangu, through which it has orchestrated a litany of recalls against our progressive, people-centered, and loyal MPs. The intention by ZANU-PF here is to manufacture a pliant and docile opposition which acts as an appendage to its power retention agenda. So it is against this background that we have chosen to organize ourselves within Parliament as the Progressive Parliamentary Caucus. And soon we shall be doing same with our local authorities across the country in order for us to escalate our fight against ZANU-PF and push for the much needed economic, political, and electoral reforms in this country. You see, our wish is to blot out any blurred lines, because not all MPs sing the ZANU-PF tune. Not all MPs are in there for the trinkets and trappings of power. Not all MPs have abandoned the people. And not all MPs are with this Chavangu guy. Our caucus is alive to the Zimbabwean struggle, and thus we wish to join the collective and organic organization of Zimbabweans across the country and across the globe in order for us to fight for change in Zimbabwe and to fight against any extension of the ZANU-PF rule beyond 2028. In fact, what we want is to be able to remove Mnangagwa from office even earlier than 2028, forget 2030 agenda. So this is the reason why we have said our members must come out clearly and demonstrate to the people of Zimbabwe that, there are progressive MPs, there are progressive legislators who remain in Parliament, and even in the face of threats from the authoritarian ZANU-PF regime through the agents of its appendage, Sengezo Chavangu, we remain loyal and clear to the purpose and ethos of the struggle which was started in this country, in the early in the mid to late 1990s. So this is what the caucus has gathered around, and you know well that we have put out a statement. We had about 45 and several apologies by MPs who came. We sat down, came up with resolutions that have been communicated to the public. Thank you very much.
Mposa Fuzwayo, Secretary General of Ipechuleka Zulu, an organization advocating for justice for Gukurahundi genocide victims, said the Gukurahundi outreach program is long overdue but flawed. His comments come as the government begins an awareness campaign for the upcoming Matabeleland Peace Building Outreach Program set to start next month. Fuzwayo said Gukurahundi victims are widespread and the lack of provisions for those in the Midlands and the Delta is discriminatory. He also criticized the program for only allowing victims to tell their stories without giving perpetrators a platform to explain their actions, which is necessary for closure. Let's hear him speaking on our sister channel site. Let's tune in.
Well, I think it has long been overdue, but unfortunately, I have been just talking to villagers in Cholocho. There is a villager who was asking me about the program. So meaning that the program might be known by the urbanites, well, maybe because they are saying they are going to sensationalize the villagers or consensationalize, I don't know the right term. But at the end of the day, the major victims are not in Mud North and Mud South, and some of the victims are outside the country. So there is nothing that has been done to say how are they going to. In fact, they are saying they must come from Botswana, South Africa, Canada, whatsoever. But I think if it was, this is a deliberate way of pushing some other victims out, and you know that victims from Midlands are not participating. So this is a process that is starting, but it is faulty. It is not all inclusive. I listened to the first speaker talking about a process whereby it brings in everyone, but this process does not bring every victim, even the other people, because Zimbabwe is a country that has got scars. If my neighbor was victimized, I'm victimized as well, because it's either when he looks at me, he feels, especially when you talk about Gukurahundi, it has left suspicion between tribes. It has left suspicion between political parties. So I think the process, as it might start, but it is not. It is starting faulty, because the leaving behind of Midlands, the unclearness of how those who have been pushed outside of the country for sanctuary and for economic survival, because you know that after victimization, they were marginalized as well. So there are some went out because they wanted safety and for economic opportunities, and they carry those cars. So I don't know, because there is nothing that has been made for them to come and share their stories. And the other thing is, if this process was a proper process, it will bring in the perpetrator. Now it is the story of the victim, but there is no way we are told when is the perpetrator going to share his story. Thank you.
Veteran trade unionist Obet Mesarore has described ZANU-PF's leader Emmerson Mnangagwa and ANC leader Cyril Ramaphosa as an embarrassment to the African continent. Mesarore condemned Emmerson Mnangagwa and Ramaphosa for willingly submitting to Donald Trump's bullying. He called for African nations to unite and ease trade laws amongst themselves. Mesarore said,
Cyril Ramaphosa, the leader of the biggest economy in Africa, just made it his decision to embarrass the whole of Africa by going to grovel to Donald Trump. You wonder why these leaders can't even imagine what Nkrumah imagined years back to say Africa should unite in the face of the bullying of Donald Trump. Would expect Ramaphosa to be organizing African leaders to come together to come up with a collective response strategy to say, how do we respond to the bullying of Donald Trump? But they're going there as individuals. We saw Emerson Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe, one day pathetically scraping all tariffs on imports from the United States, and he never got even a thank you from the US. They never noticed, they never mentioned him. They just ignored the nonsense because it was pathetic. Why are we reducing ourselves to be this laughing stock? What we urgently need is to consolidate our African economies so that we bargain as a bloc. What we urgently need is to free ourselves from being clients of the global markets, to be able to make sovereign decisions for our own economies. What we urgently need is then to try to create value chains, to value add our mineral resources across the continent, to say how do we add value, to say how do we create our markets internally in Africa, how do we get our states to be seriously involved in planning and production. We can't remain clients of the global market, and this is how we pay. We have a Home Minister of International Relations in Lamola going there only to receive a pat on the back from Rupert. Never said the word, only to be congratulated for now being a good house nigger by those racists. No, that's unacceptable. And this current generation of African leaders is just an embarrassment.
More than 5 years after work began on Ritenga-Matanga Highway, only less than 10 kilometers have been tarred. Opposition official in Mwenezi Tinei Mapepa said work on the highway has completely been stopped and the project seems abandoned. He said ZANU-PF has been promising to tar the road in every election season since 1980, but nothing tangible has been done. Let's hear Mapepa speak.
Ichokwadi kuti padarika makore mashanu hurumende yatanga kuisa tara pamugwagwa unobva paRutenga wakananga kuMataga. Taiona sokuti zvakakosha kuti mugwagwa uyoyo uiswe tara nokuti wanga uchizorerutsa congestion yedzimotikari muhighway yeBedbridge kuenda kuHarare. Asi kana takatarisa taakutoona kuti nzvimbo yavakashanda haikwanisi kusvika makiromita 10, haisviki 10 kilometers nzvimbo yavakashanda, ende basa racho rakutotiratidza kuti rakatoregwa, hakuchina uchafunga nezvazvo, zvakatongofa zvakalodha saizvozvo. Saka isu kana tatarisa totoona sekuti kuda ndeimwe mikana inovhurwa nehurumende ZANU-PF kuti kuda iwanepo kubudisanapo mari chiti tiri kugadzira mugwagwa unoenda kuMataga unorerusira vemagonyeti kuti vafambe nenzira iyoyo isina congestion yakawanda vachienda kwavari kuenda nezvisengwa zvavo. Ukanyatsotarisa unoona kutanga 1980 takanga tichingowana zvivimbiso zvokuti tichaisa tara road iyoyo igorerusira vanhu. Kusvika nanhasi zvinongori zvivimbiso zvizere mhepo, inongori nhava izere mhepo, haina chainacho pakurarama kwavanhu. Isu taneta namanyepo aya, taneta nekureverwa nhema nehurumende iyi. Chatava kutotarisira ihurumende itsva, hurumende inoisa zvido zvavanhu pamoyo, hurumende inoisa vanhu pamberi pakuita basa ravo. Kuda dzimwe nguva tingawana pokupunyuka napo. Tatenda.
Citizens President Advocate Nelson Chamisa has shared his vision on his social platforms about a new Great Zimbabwe in which he intends to establish a world-class transport system with motorways and spaghetti roads. Opposition official and former Member of Parliament Honorable Eric Gono said he is confident that President Chamisa will bring total transformation to the country, like what he has done when he was Minister of ICT in GNU. Gono said,
President Chamisa has been very consistent in terms of his transport network plan. He understands the importance of an efficient transport system. In Zimbabwe, we don't have a functional railway network. We don't have a functional world-class roads to transport, be it goods or people from point A to point B. And there is no economy that can flourish without a proper network of transport. So yesterday, again, the post president shared again his same consistent opinion about the need of an improved infrastructure in terms of transport, an improved infrastructure in terms of road and rail network, so that Zimbabwe can be able to move goods from point A to point B, and that is a key instrument of recovering economically, because we need to move our raw materials from point A to point B so that our processing systems are efficient. So what is very nice about this is that the president, the post-president, has been very consistent about the need of spaghetti roads, about the need of efficient railway networks, so that we improve drastically the economic situation for our country.
Villagers in Chilonga and Chirezi South have expressed disappointment over the government's failure to resuscitate the irrigation project that used to sustain the area. One of Chilonga's community leaders, Livson Chikutu, said the irrigation project was hijacked by ZANU-PF and is now lying idle due to mismanagement. Let's hear Chikutu speak.
Irrigation rekwa Chilonga rava ne more than 15 to 20 years risiri kushanda. Mukatarisa muna 2023 towards the election pakanga paine committee yakanga yasarudzwa nevanhu yakanga isiri partisan, asi nokuda kuti takanga takanangana kuma election ndinotondera akanga asarudzwa ari wezanu vaJoel Stole vakauya vakabvisa komiti yakanga iripo yakanga ichigadzirisa, yakanga yatoenda kuHippo Valley ikapiwa maexcavator ekuchera kuti mvura iwanikwe painofanirwa kupombewa ichienda kuirrigation. Vakasvika vakabvisa komiti iyoyo yatungamirirwa navabutisani Mushi nana Isao Mutangirwa. Komiti iyoyo ikabva vakati ndakuisa yangu ine chekuita nepati yangu yeZANU. Iyoyo komiti iyoyo haina zvayakaita. NeveHippo Valley vakabva vatotadza kuramba vachienderera mberi kuti maexcavator avo arambe aripo, because vakanga vakuona kuti zvakanga zvava nemapolitics mukati. Vakabva vabvisa makatapila avo iwawo vakamadzosera kuHippo Valley. So naiko zvino irrigation yekwachilonga haisi kushanda, inova irrigation inobata vanhu vakawanda. Vanhu vemuchiredzi vaiuya kuzohodha muriwo, madomasi nezvakawanda wanda zvairimwa muirrigation umu, nenzvimbo dzakatenderera dzinobatanidza vana Chibwedziva, Chambuta, Chipinda, Masavamele, Chingele, Machindu, Majijimba, Gwaseche. Vanhu vaibetsereka umomo vachiwana usave, vamwe vaiuya kuzoshandira vachiwana muriwo nemadomasi. But pari zvino mukatarisa irrigation iroro sekutaura kwandaita kuti more than 15 to 20 years haisi kushanda, asi hurumende iri kutadza kuona zvona izvozvo kuti zvinofanira kugadziriswa kuti vanhu vagone kuguta, because vanhu vaitoguta umomo muirrigation iyoyo nokuti irrigation yakakura chaizvo zvokuti yaitobetsera vanhu vakawanda.
The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Evelyn Love, told Parliament yesterday that the government is already delivering on its promise of free education through the BEAM program. Bizo Member of Parliament Kopete Madzivanyika, however, said the BEAM program is selective and only support a handful of learners. He said the government under Section 75 of the Constitution is mandated to provide for basic education for all. He also said delays in payment of BEAM funds to schools by government is crippling schools' operations. Madzivanyika said.
Parliament yesterday exposed the dire situation in the education sector, and it also largely exposed ZANU-PF's failure to deliver on its election promises. You will find that in the run-up to 2018 and 2023 elections, the leader of ZANU-PF, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has been moving about and around the country, telling people or promising the people of Zimbabwe that once he's elected, he's going to provide free basic education for free to every Zimbabwean. But today, members of parliament realizing that nothing has happened on the ground, the majority of people or pupils are dropping out of school for failure to pay school fees. They then went on to ask the representative of the president, who is the Minister of Education, to say, how far have you gone in the provision of free basic education to the generality of Zimbabweans as you promised during the elections? The Honorable Minister said that we are giving free education through BEAM. That is actually a flawed explanation. The question is, are you providing free education as you promised in the general elections? And the answer is no. Because if you look at BEAM, BEAM means basic education assistance module. It applies to the vulnerable people only, not to the generality of Zimbabweans. So it is actually discriminatory. So that on its own is indicative that the government has failed on its election promise. Secondly, if you look at BEAM, government is supposed, for those kids who are under BEAM, government is supposed to make disbursements from Treasury, from the Ministry of Finance, to make disbursements to ensure that those kids are paid for. Their school fees is paid so that we enhance quality education in our schools. Unfortunately, since 2020, the year 2020, no government cent has been disbursed to the Ministry of Education, particularly to deal with, to pay for the BEAM students who are under BEAM. So it's very clear that according to Section 75 of the Constitution, the right to education for every citizen and permanent resident of Zimbabwe, it cannot be overemphasized. The state must take all legislative measures to ensure that education is freely available. But under our circumstances, it remains a dream in the pipeline. Thank you.
It was yet another day in court today for human rights defenders who were abducted at Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport last year. The court of Rob Sanchez, Namatai Kwekweza, Samuel Kwenza and Fismos Moyo, and a host of other activists who had their application for discharge thrown away by the magistrate on Tuesday were put to defense today during trial. They are facing trumped-up charges of disorderly conduct following a flash demonstration that occurred at Aurora Magistrate Court in June last year. ACHU's Secretary General Rob Sanchez gave us the latest from court. Let's tune in.
Today we appeared before Harare Magistrate Courts in Harare today, where we are being charged with disorderly conduct emanating from 31st of July 2024, when we were abducted from the plane before being tortured and then later on sent to prison for Chikurubi maximum prison for 35 days. So the case is continuing trial and it's on defense stage, and it has been postponed to 2 July at 2:15.
ZANU-PF supporters in an area called Cloverdale near Rua have vowed not to vote for the ruling party in the next elections. The area they were evicted from is part of a farm belonging to former ZANU-PF minister Patronela Kagwenye, which was invaded by land barons who sold the land to unsuspecting ZANU-PF supporters. This all happened while Kagwenye was in prison. The Cloverdale residents feel betrayed by the ruling party following their eviction from that farm without giving them alternative accommodation. We also asked our CMRA panelists to give advice to ZANU-PF members after their party showed it does not care about them after elections. Let's tune in. Let's take a look at our CMRA sports news. A Brennan Jensen goal was the difference as Tottenham Hotspurs edged Manchester United 1-0 in a UEFA Europa League final played in Bilbao in Spain. This was Tottenham's first trophy in 17 years. With the victory, Tottenham also qualified for next season's UEFA Champions League. And to end our CMRA News Bulletin, here are the headlines once more. Progressive opposition members of parliament resist 23rd agenda. Kukurawundi program lacks closure without perpetrators' voices, says Fuzwayo. Emmerson Mnangagwa Ramaphosa have failed Africa, says veteran trade unionist and the Science Bulletin.